stands in the scorched, withered garden. Summers interior a last blast like a aeronaut stitches the field on the fire of shameless fury before making his escape. The general took out the letter, carefully smoothed the paper, set his glasses on his nose, and placed the sheet under the bridge light to read the street, the short line, though irregular handwriting, his arm folding behind his back. There was a calendar hanging on the wall. Its free size number showed August 14. The general looked at the ceiling and counted August 14, July 2. He was calculating how much time he elapsed between the long day and today. 41 years, he said finally, half around. Recently, he had been talking to himself even when he was alone in the room. 40 years, he said, confused and blushed like a schoolboy who stumbled in the middle of a lesson, tilted his head back and closed his wandering eye. His neck and rendered the blood bulged over the miser's yellow collar of his jacket. July 2, 1899. He was the day of the hunt. He hummed, then fell silent, propping his elbow on his desk like a student at his study. He went back to starting and anxiously, un- anxiously, unconsciously at the letter with its brief handwriting message. 40 once, he said again harshly. 43 days. Yes, exactly. He scanned calmer now and began to walk up and down. The room had a velvet ceiling supported by a central column. It had once been two rooms, a bedroom and a dressing room. Many years ago, he thought, only he decades anything more exact upset him, as if he might be reminding to things he would rather the forget. He had the wall between the two rooms thrown down, only the column holding up the central wallet remained. The castle had been built 200 years, carried by the army suppliers who sold the oats to the Australian cavalry, and its course of time was promoted to be nobility. The general had been born here. This room, in those days, the room was faster back, the dark one, the looked on to the garden. Instead, the officer had been his mother's bedroom, while the writer's Harry's rooms had been the dressing room. For the decades now since he had moved into this wing of the building and torn down the dividing wall, string the large scullery chambers to replace the two rooms, 17 paces off from the door to the bed, 18 pieces of the wall on the garden side to be balcony. What distance continued of exactly he lived there as an invalid lives within the space he was learned to inhabit, as if the room had been tailored to his body. Years passed without him setting foot in the other wing of the castle, in which saloon after saloon opened one into the next, first green, then blue, then red, all hung off with gold chandeliers. The windows in the south wings gave into the park within the chestnut trees stood in the semicircle in front of protruding bluster blusters held up by faith, stones, angles, and rolled to down and balconies. Spring all there or dark green magnificent light line, pink flowing candles with when he went out. It was the sailor into the forest, or even morning, rain or shine, even in the winter, to the trout pond. And when he come back, he went toward the entrance hall and up to his bedroom. And it was here that he had always such a meal. So he come back, he sat around, standing in the middle of the room, and 41 years and 43 days later, this word seemed to suddenly exhaust him as if he had finally understood the insurance of the 41 years and 43 days. He sat down the laddered armchairs with its own back and its little table of within the reach of the hand was a little silver bell which rang. Tell Nanny to come up here, he said to the servant, and properly if he said kind to me. So friends, end of this chat.